It. Destroyed. Real name, Robert O'Brien. Occupation, special effects designer. Identity, secret. Legal status, American citizen with no criminal record. Other aliases, the Living Colossus. Place of birth, human, Los Angeles, California. Place of origin, statue, Moscow, Soviet Union. Place of destruction, statue, Los Angeles, California. First appearance, Tales of Suspense number 14. Final appearance, Incredible Hulk number 244. History. As a test of his loyalty to the Soviet state, sculptor Boris Petrovsky was commissioned to create a work that would commemorate the achievements of the Soviet Union. In mockery of his task, Petrovsky sculpted a 100-foot-tall statue out of granite, a work that was fearsome in aspect and one that reflected Petrovsky's feelings for his totalitarian rulers. On the night before party officials were to come inspect the artist's work, Petrovsky witnessed the crash landing of a spacecraft not far from his studio outside of Moscow. Curious, Petrovsky rushed to the crash site and was horrified to see a crab-like alien climbing from the wreckage. Terrified, he ran back to his studio but was followed by the spacefarer, a member of the race of Kigors. Petrovsky soon learned that the Kigor had no interest in him, but was seeking a means of protection in Earth's alien atmosphere. Spying the statue of Colossus, the crab creature initiated a mind transferal into the construct. Within minutes, his creation had become a moving, living Colossus as the alien somehow brought life to the statue. When the officials arrived, they believed the Colossus to be part of an attempt by Petrovsky to take over the state. The Soviet army was called out to defeat the creature. Despite direct and repeated attacks, the Colossus could not be destroyed. In retaliation to these attacks, the alien used the Colossus's body to go on a rampage through Moscow. The capital might have been completely destroyed if not for the timely arrival of a rescue party from the alien's world. The Kigor removed his consciousness from the Colossus and returned to his home planet. Lifeless again, the Colossus was eventually used for its original purpose as a means of propaganda. A few years later, the Soviet government chose to send the Colossus to the United States, where it was to be displayed in an international exhibition. Upon arrival in Los Angeles, however, a new warlike contingent of Kigors, utilizing the psychokinetic nervous system left in the statue by the first alien, placed their consciousnesses in the statue and went on a rampage through the city, bent on conquest. The United States Army proved as helpless against the Colossus as the Soviet Army had been years earlier. Only a daring plan on the part of Bob O'Brien, a special effects designer in the employ of the world-famous Delasny Studios, saved Southern California from destruction. O'Brien tricked the aliens into transferring their minds into yet another construct. This giant was actually a booby-trapped prop that O'Brien had created. Once the aliens had transferred into the trap, O'Brien detonated hidden explosives, annihilating the Kigors. The Colossus remained on the grounds of the studio where the aliens had abandoned it, as it was too huge to remove. A few months after the alien attack, O'Brien was injured in an accident and was confined to a wheelchair. Embittered by his condition, O'Brien buried himself in his work, alienating his friends and co-workers. Only the Colossus retained any interest for O'Brien, for it was, to him, a symbol of what man can do against incredible odds. It was also a reminder of the only time in his life that O'Brien could truly say he had been a hero. While he was working late one night on the special effects for the hit television program Star-Lords, O'Brien accidentally witnessed the attempted hijacking of the Colossus by a band of men using advanced scientific equipment. The sight of the theft outraged O'Brien. In a manner never completely explained, this sudden rush of intense emotional feeling somehow sparked a mind transferal between O'Brien and the Colossus. As the aliens had before him, O'Brien now found his mind in control of a fully animated stone giant. Since O'Brien was unused to utilizing such a huge body, the Colossus was easily defeated by an attack of nerve gas. O'Brien's mind was forced back into his own body, and the Colossus was taken to the undersea lair of Dr. Vault, a scientific genius who had suffered a severe emotional breakdown upon hearing that he was suffering from a terminal nerve disorder. Vault sought to prevent his death by transferring his mind into the Colossus permanently. Realizing the inefficiencies of maintaining the Colossus at its full 100 feet, Vault exposed the statue to his matter-condensing ray, which reduced the statue to a height of 30 feet. Before Vault could transfer his consciousness into it, O'Brien succeeded in locating the statue mentally and transferred his mind back into the Colossus. He easily defeated Vault's minions and escaped from the undersea lair. Called It the Living Colossus, O'Brien thwarted several attempts by Vault to abscond with the statue, but perhaps his greatest achievement was halting an invasion by the gargoyle race of Stonus V, led by Granitor, that world's dictator.
See, alien races, Stonians.
Although he was helped by the ancient Chinese dragon Fin Fang Foom in this last battle, it remains his greatest victory. Shortly after the defeat of Granitor, O'Brien decided to give up his career as the Living Colossus and devote his time to rehabilitating his crippled legs. He hid the Colossus in Vault's abandoned undersea headquarters, and within a matter of months he had regained the use of his legs. He eventually married TV star Diane Cummings and was prepared never to initiate the mind transfer again. It was only after witnessing the accidental attack of the Hulk on Mann's Chinese theater that O'Brien amended his decision. Fearful that the Hulk would go on a rampage and injure dozens of innocent bystanders, O'Brien once again became the Living Colossus. However, Dr. Vault witnessed the return of the Colossus, and, utilizing an advanced psionic device that boosted his mental power, he attempted to once again enter the mind of It, and this time succeeded. O'Brien, after months of inactivity, was no longer used to the draining effects of the transferal, and thus his mind was easily forced back into his own body by Vault's attack. Finally in control of It, Vault decided to demonstrate what he believed to be the statue's invulnerability by attacking the Hulk. Despite the statue's obvious great strength, It was no match for the near-limitless power of the Hulk. Within minutes, the enraged behemoth had reduced It to dust. With no artificial body left to contain his mind, Vault's consciousness returned to his human shell. He discovered that the mind transferal had actually accelerated the progression of his nerve disorder at an incredible rate. Within minutes of his return to his human body, Vault was dead. Powers. It was originally a 1,000-ton, 100-foot-tall animated stone statue capable of throwing a nuclear weapon into outer space from the stratosphere. When It was reduced to a height of 30 feet, the upper limits of its strength decreased. It could then lift, approximately 90 tons. Although the Colossus was a construct of stone, the granite of its substance was super dense. Despite repeated direct hits by heavy Soviet and American artillery, it never suffered any outer damage except for a few minor fragments being blasted loose. It is probable that when the original Kigor entered the Colossus, he also subtly altered the molecular composition of the granite as a means of further protection. It was also impervious to electricity. It was exposed to several million volts of electricity on 2 separate occasions, and neither the Colossus's body nor the mind of Bob O'Brien were affected. It could also exist underwater for an extended period of time. Curiously, despite the fact that It did not possess lungs, it was vulnerable to nerve gas or knockout gas. Exposure to such would automatically force the command intelligence back into its original body. It also possessed the ability to fly. This power was purely psionic in nature, and as such exerted a severe mental strain on the command intelligence. Because of the extreme mental stress that levitating the Colossus created, O'Brien avoided flight whenever possible. It remains a mystery how a solid stone statue with no jointed parts could move without cracking.